This meeting to order. Thanks so much for being here. And we will start with a roll call.
Oh, that's me. Ms. Grisomkowski.
I am here.
Mr. Dimick.
Here.
Ms. Ryan.
Here.
Mr. Wiseman.
Here.
Ms. Cotter.
Here.
I am present, and Ms. Dodd.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Everyone who's able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I think we should have had the kids lead that Pledge of Allegiance. They were doing a pretty good job. All right, and with that, we need approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
Sure, I'll move the Board of Education approve the agenda as presented.
I'll support.
Thank you very much. And any discussion? No? Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Ms. Grisomkowski.
Yes.
I am a yes. Ms. Cotter.
Yes.
Mr. Dimick.
Yes.
Mr. Wiseman.
Yes.
Ms. Dodd.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you very much. We start with items from the board president, and always I start with a long bit about public comment. So give me 1 second. I have to make it big enough that I can see. There we go. As a school board, we appreciate the members of our community who share their public comments during the designated times in our meeting agenda. It's an important opportunity for the board to hear from the community. However, it's not a time for two-way communication. A regular meeting of the Board of Education is designated for the board to conduct business of the Huron Valley Schools in open session in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. Comments that require follow-up investigation or communication will be handled by the superintendent or a member of his administrative team. There's 2 segments in the agenda for public comment, sections 3 and 7 respectively. 15 minutes has been allocated in section 3 for public comments related to voting items and non-voting items if time allows. The board will allocate more than 15 minutes in section 3, so all public comments on voting items may be heard in section 3 prior to the board voting on those items. All comments on non-action items will take place during section 7 of the agenda, if not already heard in section 3. All speakers wishing to address the board must be present. All individuals will be given an opportunity to speak. Each individual will have 3 minutes to share their communication. They may only speak once and cannot share unused time with another person. A timer will be displayed on the screen so individual can monitor their time. Once 3 minutes have elapsed, a timer will sound indicating that the public comment has concluded, and the microphone will be turned off in preparation for the next speaker. We ask that you share your name and home school district before sharing your comments. If you're interested in participating in public comment at this meeting, there are public comment forms located on the table by the door. Those should be returned to Ms. Cadell before section 3 of our agenda. All right, moving on down to other communications. I want to have everyone mark their calendars for March 24th and March 25th for our community forums. Twice a year, the Board of Education hosts community forums where board members go and they sit at a table and we have conversations with you. This is a great opportunity for members of our community to come have conversations and participate as good citizens in the district. On March 24th, we will be at Heritage Elementary School from 6 to 7:30, and on March 25th at Lakewood Elementary, also from 6 to 7:30. Each board member isn't at all of them, but there are enough of us that you typically have a good selection to choose from. So if you're interested, we hope to see you there. And then the second thing I'd like to talk about is I just got back from Washington, D.C. I went to an advocacy institute there where we worked to advocate with our federal lawmakers about all things related to how the federal government supports public education. I did not prepare a whole presentation like I usually did for tonight, but don't worry, it'll be at our next meeting. So if you're interested in that, tune in to the next meeting. I will let you know that that we were there during the talks about the shutdown and the talks about all of that, and everyone there is working very, very hard. They were willing to listen, and I was reminded by Senator Slotkin that when we attended this exact same conference last year at this time, we were asking, please don't cut IDEA, please don't eliminate Title I funding. And even though we have not seen growth in those areas, we have kept them. We've kept the Individuals with Disabilities Act. We've kept our funding for our title programs, and that's good. That's better than we hoped for last year at this time. So as it relates to what we're hoping for and what we'd like, I'll fill you in more about that at our next meeting. But for now, just know that it was time well spent, and advocacy is never a bad idea. Reminding people that you're here and you're important, and the things that you care about and the people you care about are important too. So it's never time wasted when we advocate both at the federal level and the state level. With that, we're going to move on to recognition.
And I would invite Ms. Rothler to the podium.
Good evening. Throughout the year at our Board of Education meetings, we take great pride in recognizing students who excel, whether in athletics, academics, or other outstanding achievements. Tonight, we are honored to celebrate 2 students who exemplify excellence in a few areas. Lakeland High School's Meredith Peterson and Anna Lennon, a senior at International Academy West, have each earned statewide recognition as finalists for the Michigan High School Athletic Association Scholar Athlete Award. Out of more than 1,400 applications submitted across the state, Meredith and Anna rose to the top as finalists, an extraordinary accomplishment. To be considered for this prestigious honor, students must maintain at least a 3.5 GPA, earn a varsity letter, secure letters of recommendation, and write an essay focused on what sportsmanship is to them. This recognition reflects not only their athletic ability, but also their leadership, character, and dedication in the classroom. The Scholar Athlete Award recipients will be announced February 17th. The Scholar, Meredith and Anna, we wish you both the very best of luck, but please know that you have already made Huron Valley Schools incredibly proud. So if the both of you can please join me up here, along with Board of Education Treasurer Tom Wiseman, for this special recognition.
I think we should have Mr. Miller go up there too.
On behalf of the Huron Valley Board of Education, I take great pride in presenting both of you a certificate and our special coin that represents the Huron Valley School District. We take great pride in our district being a AAA school district. Academics, the arts, and athletics. Both of you display 2 of the 3. It's a real wow moment when you talk about 1,400 individuals applying for this award, and to get to where you are now as a semifinalist is a great achievement. And like I said, we take great pride in your accomplishments, not only on the athletic field, but more importantly, in the classroom. So with that, both of you are going to receive a certificate, and it's for outstanding representation of Huron Valley Schools, along with our Huron Valley Schools Medal. It says, inspiring and building futures, one student at a time. Academics, athletics, and the arts. So on behalf of the entire Huron Valley Board of Education, in the entire district, thank you very much for your achievements. So, Anna?
Comments, questions? Amy?
So can you both tell me what sport you play, or sports, because I think you play multiple sports, and where you plan to head to college?
Okay, so I only play softball, so I'm not a multi-sport athlete. But and then in the fall, I plan to either attend the University of Michigan or Michigan State University to study business.
Okay, I play girls basketball and girls golf, and then in the fall I plan on attending either Michigan State, U of M, or Notre Dame.
I just have one more thing to say. Go blue.
I was going to say, watch out, that could get dangerous. Other comments? If we do a picture?
Yes, I was going to say, if we can get the
Yeah.
Board of Ed to come out and we'll take a picture. If any family members would like to take a picture.
All right, next we'll move on to school presentations.
Thank you. And this evening, we have the proud principal of Spring Mills Elementary School, Mr. Adam Wager, and I know he has a number of friends to introduce as well, one of which I saw running down the hallway as I was walking in. So, Mr. Wager, I would invite you to the podium.
There we go. Now it's on. Good evening, members of the board, central office administrative team, and Dr. Salat and the Huron Valley community. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to share this very, very special part of Spring Mills and our school community with all of you tonight. I'm joined this evening by one of our most dedicated educators, Mr. Stern, and 4 of our 4th grade student leaders, Anya LaPratt, Kellen Byerly, Reese Nowak, and Philip Tesselin, right there. We are really excited to introduce to you a new teammate to Spring Mills, who has become quickly our most popular staff member recently. Our school emotional support and learning dog. Let's see if it's going to work. Teddy. Over the past few months, we have seen, firsthand how a wagging tail, a calm presence can really transform a classroom and just an overall school environment. And we're really excited to show you how, the positive impact that he has had on our students' well-being and overall engagement.
So why do we have Teddy? Teddy is here because we have growing student needs related to anxiety, behavior, and emotional regulation. Come here, buddy. And the goal is to provide a safe, positive, and effective support that helps students ready to learn every day. What does Teddy do every day? Well, first he announces snow days. That's a crowd favorite. But he greets every student as they walk in the building with a positive entry, student check-ins, emotional regulation breaks, classroom visits and small group support, crisis response and de-escalation, as well as reading and confidence building in the classrooms.
How Teddy has impacted students. He's reduced anxiety and emotional escalation, improved self-regulation and coping strategies, increased sense of safety and belonging, greater willingness to engage in learning and in social situations. Teddy has helped me by reducing some of the anxiety that I have before and after tests, and I feel that for some people who don't really like school, he makes something to look forward to.
How Teddy has impacted school's climate. Hi, my name is Kellen Byerly. I am 9 years old. I am from Mr. Stern's 4th grade class. Today I'll be talking to you about our class dog, Teddy. Teddy is an improvement to our school. He helps staff and students when in need of emotional support. Teddy has a special way of bringing peace, calmness, and joy to everyone he meets and greets in the hallways, classrooms, and common spaces. Teddy is always helpful when students are having a bad or stressful day or if they have anxiety. He will come over to you and calm you down. Teddy has positive energy that brings happiness and builds our school community. I am thankful for Teddy and the love he gives to everyone every day. Thank you.
Looking ahead, we want to integrate Teddy into the classroom more often. We're going to collect data on the impact of behavior, attendance, and get feedback from staff. We want to expand the staff involvement in structured programming, and our long-term goal is to create a sustainable emotional support model. Teddy doesn't move for anybody.
My name is Reese Nowak, and I'm also from Mr. Stern's 4th grade class. By the way, Teddy is not just a comfort dog. He is a daily intervention that helps students regulate their emotions, connect with school, and become ready to learn. Teddy supports the whole child academically, socially, and emotionally. And Teddy really helps with people taking tests, and if someone's just having a rough day or just needs to have something to cheer them up, Teddy is always there for them. Thank you.
I'm Philip. I feel like Teddy gives us energy when we need it and takes it away when we don't. For example, in gym, I feel like Teddy gives us like a massive boost of energy, but like whenever we're taking a test, he calms down and turns off people's anxiety levels.
Before we wrap up, I think we should give a round of applause to these brave 4th graders for stepping up and helping us out today. So just a final thank you to the LaFontaine Auto Group and Huron Valley Chamber of Commerce for kind of allowing Teddy to even be a possibility in our school. So thank you very much to them as well. If there's any questions or anything like that from anybody on the board or Coat or anything, we'd be happy to answer.
Yes. So where does Teddy live when he's not at Spring Mills?
He lives in my house.
Is he only, or does he live with somebody else? Other dogs, I meant.
Teddy is actually our 4th dog. We're on about 12 acres of property, so he's got lots of space to run.
Excellent, excellent. And does everybody else at Spring Mills feel the same way that you 4 feel? Happy to have Teddy there? Yeah, you guys did a great job, thanks.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. It's an honor to meet Teddy and you people from Spring Mills. I'm so glad that he's able to attend. So during the day, I'm sure he has to use the facilities or the great outdoors. Now, who takes the time or who's in charge of making sure Teddy gets his time to himself?
So just like everyone at Spring Mills, students and staff, Teddy's also on a schedule. We take him out. I take him outside before school starts. He'll go outside on my special, so he gets breaks just like a staff member does. My planning period is also his nap time, and then obviously lunchtime, restroom, and there's also a secondary handler at Spring Mills. So if there's an emergency need, she's just a quick text or phone call away, and she can run him outside. But it's been a smooth transition, and he knows his schedule. So right now he's off duty. So when the vest comes off, he's all puppy. So I think he's a little confused right now that I haven't eaten dinner. Where's my brothers? I want to go home and play and take the vest off. But he follows basically my schedule.
Did I miss it? How old is Teddy?
He turned 1.5 in January.
He's just a baby.
Yeah. So his birthday's June 11th. He'll be 2.
Very good.
Mr. Wiseman.
Thank you.
Yes, 4th graders, you did a marvelous job. You really talked about Teddy quite a bit, and I could tell by Teddy he's very, very modest. I could tell that he was blushing as you were talking about him. So the question I have is, does he have a snow day? Does he get a snow day too?
He does get a snow day.
He gets a snow day. How does he react to those snow days?
He likes to work. So he doesn't take snow days like the rest of us take snow days. So we'd have to spend a lot of time outside, and on those snow days, we got to make a quick run to Home Depot. He loves Home Depot, so he gets some of his work in.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Great job, fourth graders.
Yes.
Wonderful job, fourth graders. You know, we normally get a lot of fifth graders that come in. You guys nailed it. Well done. Question for Teddy. What type of training did he undergo? Because I've never seen a lab that was 1.5 years old that behaves like that.
He was trained and bred through Campus Canines, which is out of Highland. His training started at 8 days old, and progressed and was released to me the week of Thanksgiving. And again, when the vest is on, he is working, and this is Teddy. When the vest comes off, he is full puppy. Full puppy.
Well, I think we might be boring Teddy. I'm not sure. I notice a sense of sleepiness. We do that to people sometimes. So we appreciate you. Thank you very much, fourth graders. You're excellent public speakers. You did a great job. Teddy, you come back and visit anytime. And congratulations to the Spring Mills crew for coming in and giving us a great presentation. With that, I'm going to pause for just about 30 seconds. Obviously, you're welcome to stay. We have a riveting agenda coming up, as you can see. But we know that Teddy wants to get his vest off and go play, and I imagine others do too. So we'll give you a few minutes or a few seconds here to make your exits if you choose to do that. Boy, everybody's looking forward to taking their vests off and getting a little run, I guess, tonight. So we sure did. Okay. Well, I think we're back. We're ready to go. As always, we appreciate those of you who are in the audience and who've tuned in. And we will move on to student leadership. No student leaders tonight?
No student leadership.
All right. And then association communication. Did I miss something? I missed the superintendent.
I think that was intentional.
It was not. You're going to talk about the orchestra show. This is exciting
true.
stuff. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Okay. So I've got two items. First one I'd like to share this evening with the board and the listening audience. So back in September, the board approved my superintendent goals, which drive the overarching direction of the school district. The board ensures that those goals are aligned with the district's strategic plan, and we oftentimes take about a month and a half to just ensure that those goals are aligned with the vision of the district. So two goals in particular I want to just touch on briefly because we had an administrative instructional meeting this afternoon, and I'd be remiss if I just didn't share, the progress that we're making. So goal one, teaching learning technology. The Huron Valley Schools will continue to perfect its systems approach to successful school environments, our stair-step model, by implementing the board-adopted strategic plan. A particular focus will be upon stair-step 4, which is the top step, enriching and intervening multi-tiered system of support. So that's goal one. And then goal two was Dr. Salah will support and mentor the new Assistant Superintendent of TLT and the new Executive Director of Student Support Services, including the launching of the Student Support Services Strategic Plan, designed to engage multiple stakeholders in supporting students with disabilities. The reason why this is so fresh on my mind is because this afternoon we had an opportunity to get somewhat of a sneak peek as an administrative instructional team. And I just have to share how impressed I was, how pleased I am with the progress that we are making as a district. You know, we do things as a Huron Valley Schools in a collaborative manner. We believe as a team that the educational literature should drive our decision-making, that no one person should make decisions really in isolation, especially when it comes to big things like the strategic plan, things that will require the implementation of teachers in classrooms and things of that nature. And so, you know, we've put a MTSS team together, we've put a student support services team together, and today we spent some time with our administrators talking more deeply about what does Tier 1 mean? You know, what does it mean to each person in that room? How are we implementing it at the elementary, middle, high school? What additional steps might we need to take as an organization to ensure that we are meeting our goals as it relates to Tier 1? What does Tier 2 mean? What does Tier 3 mean? And eventually, how are we supporting students that require additional supports through student support services? And so Todd and Lena did a fantastic job tag teaming that conversation today. They've done a great job parallel sort of working through, Todd working through the strategic planning work for our student support services, and then Lena working through the multi-tier systems of support work. And what I shared with our administrative team today is, a lot of times, if you were to just walk cold into a room full of building principals and administrators, a lot of the conversations are around day-to-day management type things. And that's important. We have to talk about, management situations. How are we going to handle certain situations if they arise, But our group is able to not only talk about management stuff, they talk about being instructional leaders, how they are going to take what they're learning and what we develop as a district from a strategic plan perspective to implement in their schools, because they're instructional leaders. They have the ability to do both. And I guess what I'm saying is sometimes that can be somewhat rare. So I'm just really pleased with the progress we're making. Todd and Lena, great job. Keep it up. And, I'm just thankful for our building administrators, because they're good people. They care about kids. They're working very hard to meet the instructional goals of the organization, and they manage the day-to-day operations of the district. So with that, I want to move on to my next item, which is to sort of build on what has been shared a couple times this evening as it relates to our focus on being a AAA district. As you've heard from this table many times, we talk about our focus on academics, on athletics, and on the arts. And I know there are some people at this table that are going to be really excited about this presentation, some more so than others. A couple of them right here. And that is the orchestra pit not the orchestra pit, the orchestra shell. Didn't I misspeak the last time we presented this? Yes. The orchestra shell at Lakeland High School. And I have some images to show you here this evening, and I do have a clicker. Let's see if this works. I did not. I hit the arrow. No, I didn't. I hit the arrow. Okay, thank you. So what you see here is the old orchestra pit, shell, which was put in place when the Center for Performing Arts was built, was developed and created. It's very old, very clunky, very heavy, very difficult to move for different performances, and not what you would consider to be state-of-the-art for a comprehensive traditional high school like our own. And so this bond proposal that was passed in 19 is really allowing us to upgrade our facilities, upgrade our equipment in the athletics and the arts. And this is just an example of one of the recent arts purchases that we made. So you see an image of of the old orchestra shell. And then if you go on to the next, you'll see the new orchestra shell going in, which is really exciting. It is much lighter, much easier to use, and really helps with the acoustics in the CPA. It helps to retain sound for performances and musicals. And if you've ever been to a performance or a musical, it's really important to have high quality acoustics. And then the final slide I would show you is the completed orchestra shell. I mean, it's beautiful. Not only does it look fantastic, but it works wonderfully. And we have a number of opportunities to check it out in action here coming up soon. If you go to the next slide. White Lake Middle School Choir will be performing on the 23rd at 6:30. Lakeland High School Choir on the 24th at 7 p.m. White Lake Middle School Band on the 25th at 7 p.m. and then Lakeland High School Band on the 26th at 7 p.m. So again, thank you to our voters for supporting our schools. With the last two bond proposals, they have really allowed us to improve safety in our schools, to create greater opportunities in student programming and supporting the academics, to enhance and bolster the arts, to enhance and bolster the athletics. And whereas prior to the 19 bond, we were really struggling from an infrastructure perspective, we've been able to resolve a lot of the pervasive challenges that we had. So we are extraordinarily thankful for your support as a community. So that is all I have this evening, Madam President, and I'm sorry for botching the pit shell thing. I was thinking about Milford because we're getting a new pit at Milford,
Yep.
and that was what was going through my head. So
It's all right.
my bad.
My bad not getting to you. Nobody's perfect. This is a meeting of nobody's perfect, except for that dog. The dog was perfect. Okay, moving down now to association communication. I feel like we need walk-on music. Maybe next time.
There's a step stool here. Look at that. All right, good evening. We are definitely feeling the impact of Mother Nature over the last few weeks. Snow gear is bursting from the lockers at our elementary school, and a few of our secondary students may even have put on a coat from time to time over the last month because it's been really cold. So we are in second semester, and I want to take a minute to share with you that since August, we've hired 12 additional educators in Huron Valley. These educators did not have the opportunity to be recognized at our Board of Education meeting in October, so I wanted to share a little bit about them with you. We've hired 6 special education teachers, 2 speech and language pathologists, 1 social worker, 1 English language development teacher, 1 kindergarten teacher, and a middle school language arts teacher. These educators come with varied experience. A few are brand new to teaching, but many of them are seasoned educators who left other districts to come to be with us. Being hired once the school year has begun is not easy. The beginning of the year is when our educators learn all about our district, the routines of their school. It's time to get to know the principal, learn your colleague's name, decorate your classroom or office, all before the students walk through the door. Coming into the district in October, November, or even January, we hired 4 new educators in January. It's a whole different ballgame. The students already have their routines. Each staff member has dozens of things on their to-do list, and school is moving quickly. Despite this, our educators have jumped right into the mix. They're working on learning student names while simultaneously giving assessments. They're playing catch-up in learning the intricacies of our HVS technology while moving ahead with curriculum and making sure our students have everything they need. We all know that being an educator is exhausting, but being an educator who starts after the beginning of the year is a whole different level. I also want to give a special shout out to the mentors of these educators. They volunteered to mentor these teachers, knowing that everyone's time is limited and the school year is rolling along. Our HVS mentors are exceptional, and the ones who are mentoring this dozen educators, they are one of a kind. So tonight, I'm sending a special thank you to recognize these 12 educators. They have quickly become part of our Huron Valley family, and the HVS community is lucky to have them. As one of these educators shared with me the other day, she said, "I am so grateful to have found my way to Huron Valley. I know there is a special reason that I am here." Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now I'm keeping real close track. Board correspondence.
Nothing tonight.
Okay, treasurer's report.
I'm going to defer the treasurer's report to Dr. Salah and Mr. Van Gothen. I know we have a item on the board agenda as it relates to the sale of bonds on Tuesday, and we'll get into greater detail at that point in
Great.
time.
Okay. Reports from board committees. I have the executive committee report. Our last meeting was on January 29th at 9 a.m. in the administration building. Present were myself, Mr. Wiseman, Ms. Cotter, Dr. Salah, Ms. Cadell, Mr. Endicott, Ms. Nemeth, and Ms. Rothler. I feel like I should put a doctor in front of that. Am I right? Nemeth, doctor? Yes? Yes. Okay, next time. I'll get it. We had no public comment. Regular agenda items. The February 9th, 2026 regular board meeting agenda. Committee reviewed the agenda in anticipation for tonight's meeting. School safety and security. Ms. Rothler provided a status update on district safety and security initiatives, highlighted the upcoming Safety and Wellness Committee meeting scheduled for February 12th. That will be led by Colleen Armstrong, Food and Nutrition Supervisor, and will focus on nutrition. Legislative advocacy. I attended the Advocacy Institute in Washington, D.C. At the point it was upcoming. Looking forward to sharing information. Board goals. Ms. Dodd, Ms. Cotter, and Mr. Wiseman met on the 30th to discuss board goals. We will be sharing those with the rest of the board for discussion at their committee meetings. 31AA update. Dr. Salah shared at the March 10th, 2026 board study session will feature the budget. The discussion will include potential elimination of 31AA funding and its projected impact on fiscal planning and future decision-making. SmartPass Chromebook purchase. Dr. Nemeth and Scott Endicott led a discussion on purchasing Chromebooks for every middle and high school classroom to support SmartPass, the new electronic student sign-out system. Students can no longer access SmartPasses on personal devices, so the district is proposing Chromebooks in each classroom for kiosk-only use. The committee discussed the potential for a pilot program using Chromebooks returned during the summer refresh cycle instead of making a new purchase. We will monitor and discuss with the board as needed. 2026 Summer Device Refresh. Mr. Endicott presented the annual Summer Device Refresh proposal, typically reviewed by the board in the spring. He recommended moving approval for tonight's board meeting to mitigate ongoing supply chain volatility. Early approval aims to secure pricing and availability amidst significant market cost increases. Education Matters. The committee reviewed the upcoming January edition of Education Matters, the monthly newsletter, which is in mailboxes, email boxes now. Community Forum Marketing Plan. The committee recommended a communication strategy for the upcoming spring community forums. The plan will utilize multiple platforms, including Education Matters newsletter, digital signage, school newsletter, social media, and president's comments. Other, Ms. Rothler presented a draft rendering of the dedication plaque for Dr. Nancy Karate to be installed in the new HVS Administrative Services Center. The committee reviewed and approved the design as presented. Not really, we edited it a couple more times. We adjourned at 10:38 a.m. Next meeting, February 26th at 9 a.m. at the administration building. Next up, TLT.
TLT met on January 28th at the Administration Building. Meeting called to order at 9:07. Present were myself, Ms. Grzymkowski, Ms. Cotter, Dr. Nemeth, Dr. Salah, Mr. Endicott, Mr. Limberg, Ms. Bjorkman, Mr. Kallenbach, Ms. Horwitz, and Mr. Twig. There was no absent. There was no public comment. We had no unfinished business. New business, we discussed the E-rate bid packages. Mr. Twig reviewed the E-rate bid packages, including bid packages 24-T1 for the cabling at the new middle school, renovations at White Lake and Lakeland, and replacement of the district emergency system. Mr. Endicott was recommending early purchase of the district's annual devices for the summer refresh in 2026. This is due to rising costs and availability. We'll be discussing that tonight. We talked about accountability school index. Dr. Nemeth gave an update on Michigan's school accountability system, which rates individual schools using a 0 to 100-point system to identify the low-performing schools. We talked about continuous improvement. Ms. Bjorkman outlined the district's Michigan Integrated Continuous Improvement process that includes needs assessment, implementation, tracking, impact monitoring, and program evaluation. Our standing agenda items, we talked about strategic plans update. Mr. Kallenbach reported that the Student Support Services Strategic Plan Group continues to meet to review strengths and challenges and is beginning to identify long-term priorities. Staff retention has been identified as a key goal. Once objectives are clearly defined, the group plans to refine and streamline the process. Under safety and security updates, Mr. Endicott shared a new tech device, but we are not at liberty to discuss that here. And student support services, nothing to report, nothing in student leadership. Other items, personal safety lessons. Dr. Nemeth shared that each elementary school offered an opportunity for parents to come in and preview the Staying Personally Safe lesson at each grade level. And then we discussed, Dr. Slad addressed the concerns regarding the potential expenses to HVS for Oakland schools, enhancement campaign materials, and I believe there weren't any. We adjourned at 10:52. Our next meeting is this Wednesday, February 11th at 9 a.m., and we will be meeting at Apollo Childhood Center because we're getting a tour.
Finance and Operations.
Yes, the Finance and Operations Committee met on Wednesday, February 4th, 2026 at 4:15 at the Milford High School LGI room. Present were myself, along with members Ryan and Dimmick, along with Dr. Slaw, Mr. Van Gothen, Mr. Reby, Ms. Kerrigan, Mr. Endicott, Ms. Armstrong, and Ms. Moore. And we had Mike Miller from Clark Construction in attendance, Bill Weinrock from TMP Architects, and Paul Twig from Barton Mallow. Those three represent the professional services that are being provided to the district as it relates to the bond issue. Public comments, there were none. Review of minutes, we reviewed the minutes from 121, and we reviewed the consent agenda, which was easy because there were no consent agenda items. Unfinished business, we had a discussion regarding the Oakland County enhancement millage. The committee had no further questions. The Board of Education will be asked to take action on the attached resolution that's in your packet tonight. Bond sale, the bond approved the sale of the bonds at the December 8th, 2025 board meeting. Dr. Slaw and Jeffrey were pleased to report on Tuesday, February 3rd, the successful sale of the 26 school building in Site Series 1. We'll get into greater detail later on in the board meeting. New business, Bid Pack 24 T1, middle school cabling, the E-rate. Mr. Twig from Barton Mallow reviewed the E-rate bid packets including Bid Pack 24 T1 for the cabling of the new middle school renovations at White Lake Middle School in Lakeland and the replacement of district emergency systems. He also outlined the bids for the fiber maintenance and additional fiber installation at the new middle school, noting that only bids meeting the approval threshold will go to the board in March. The committee asked good questions, as they always do, and good discussion was had. Administration is recommending Nerd Express Incorporated for a total of $1,285,835 for this bid pack, and AMCOM for $433,104 for the remaining bids. The funds for these purchases are budgeted in the 24 bond and the 2020 capital project Series 2 funds. In addition, we talked about the 2026 summer device refresh. Mr. Endicott is recommending an early purchase of the district's annual device refresher cycle due to the rising costs and availability concerns. Mr. Endicott is requesting a 1-read as opposed to our normal 2-read for approval at the February 9th board meeting. Desktop, laptop, and Chromebook computers from the REMC contract costs not to exceed $547,944. These two, the funds will also become available through the budgeted 2023 capital project fund. Safety and security, while it's on the agenda, there's nothing new to report. Other items were a bond construction update, smart pass technology, and Ms. Armstrong, who is our food service supervisor, shared with committee updates for the 25-26 school year as it relates to food service, and she did an outstanding job. Ms. Kerrigan, along with Mr. Van Gothen, provided a year-to-date budget to actual reading, and we had an opportunity, along with a couple other members of the board, to review and to walk through the new HVS Administrative Service Center located at Milford High School. And there were no further discussions. The meeting was adjourned at 5:24. Our next meeting will be March 4th at 4:15 at the administrative offices.
Thank you very much. No minutes, okay. Now we have time for public comment. I do not have any public comment forms at this time. Our audience has dwindled. I don't believe there's any public comments from the audience, so we will move on to the consent agenda. Can I please have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dimick. Support?
I'll support.
Thank you very much. Ms. Grzymkowski, any comments? All right, let's do a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Dimick?
Yes.
Ms. Grzymkowski?
Yes.
Miss Ryan?
Yes.
Miss Cotter?
Yes.
I am a yes. Mr. Wiseman? Yes. Miss Dodd?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, thank you very much. Moving on to unfinished business. First one on unfinished business tonight is the Oakland County Enhancement Millage Exhibit B.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. So I would just remind our listening audience, as well as our board, that we discussed this topic of a potential request to have Oakland County consider placing an enhancement millage on the ballot on August 4th. I presented this information to all the board subcommittees, presented at the last board meeting, have provided some updates and board notes. I have not had any questions recently, not since the last board meeting. Prior to that, we had a number of questions and discussion, during subcommittees, and I believe I was able to answer all of the questions and provide information in board notes to help clarify any misconceptions related to this potential of an enhancement millage. So with that, I would ask for board consideration of the resolution as presented.
All right, thank you very much. So I'm looking for a motion and support, and then we'll open discussion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Oakland County Enhancement Millage as presented.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wiseman. Do we have support?
I'll support that.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Cotter. I'll open it up for discussion. Go ahead, Ms.
Well, I'm going to support it because I feel it's important that the community makes the decision whether they want to do this or not. This isn't on me, but if I support this, it'll give them the opportunity, either yes or no, and I think it's important for them to have that opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Other comments? Ms. Grzymkowski.
I'm really struggling with this one. I'm concerned about the idea that our community would be making this decision. The whole of Oakland County is making this decision. If our community said no, and the whole of Oakland County said yes, that millage passes. I'm concerned about the hardship that it would cause for some of our families, for some of our seniors that have been so gracious in supporting us with our bonds. I'm concerned about the fact that our state is not doing enough to fund schools at the state level where we should be funding schools. And instead, we have to do a workaround with our ISD for an enhancement millage. We are not the only county that needs to do that. Wayne currently does it, and Macomb does this. But I am concerned because our western border is Livingston County. And to my knowledge, they do not have an enhancement millage, which creates a lower tax base. So if you have a choice to move to a place where both schools are good, If I can move to Livingston County where I have less, or I can move to Huron Valley, I may move to Livingston County, to Heartland schools, to Howell schools, to Brighton schools. However, I also know that this is funding that we need. So I'm struggling with this decision. There, to me, are a lot of cons to it. The pro, if I can say that, sorry about the big P there. The pro is that we would not necessarily be a donor community, right? What we would put in from a tax base is practically what we would get back. That to me is a pro. But the cons are also there. We have many people that cannot afford that extra tax burden. It's 1.5 mils. That's a lot of money for some people. So I'm really struggling with this. And I've thought about it a lot. And I'm having a hard time supporting it.
Okay, other comments? Thank you. Mr. Wiseman.
I appreciate the comments that Member Grzymkowski presented. I too have struggled with this. I've asked a number of questions. Obviously, the success of our district has been to be able to pass bond issues in the past and sinking funds, and they've all been around no tax rate increases. This would be an increase, but at the same time, I'm looking at this as an opportunity for our taxpayers to weigh in. And we've talked a lot about constitutional rights and democracy and so on and so forth. And this too is one of those opportunities. As I've talked to Dr. Salah and had other conversations, he's clarified what we are actually voting on tonight. And what we're really voting on is to put it on the ballot. And this action allows a county-wide question to appear on the ballot, which is determined by our community, and our community is all the school districts within Oakland County. It's an enhancement millage, meaning, in my world, an enhancement is to provide greater opportunities for our students that we presently have. At the same time, it's also an opportunity, depending upon how the voters vote, to provide additional services. But at the same time, what we're voting on does not represent support or opposition to the proposal. The resolution simply ensures that our Oakland County voters can have the opportunity to decide. And really, this is a governance as it relates to Huron Valley, not an advocacy type situation. So we as a board are voting on a resolution, but at the same time, I know Dr. Salah expressed concerns up to the ISD, who's going to be running this, that we as a district are really hesitant to commit any dollars to the campaign itself.
I said we won't.
And we won't, all right? So I have assurances as it relates to that, because if we do provide dollars to support this, it takes away opportunities for our students presently. So I have assurances from our superintendent, who has been communicating with the superintendent of Oakland Schools as it relates to this. This is really the only opportunity that we can increase our dollars, but at the same time, I recognize it's a tax rate increase, and for all the reasons that Amy has presented, it raises some concerns on my part for a variety of reasons, and I'm not going to go over those again because Member Grzymkowski has presented this. The role of the board is really not to vote on whether or not this millage should pass. The board is deciding whether Oakland County voters should be given the opportunity to decide, and the question would be placed on the August 26th ballot. This action supports our transparency and our public participation in the role of democracy within our community. And with all of those, I am hesitant, I'm concerned, but at the same time, I'm going to support it with the assurances that this is just to allow us to have the resolution on the ballot. It's not, I'm not voting on whether or not to support it or not support it, I'm voting yes to allow it to be put on the ballot. And I just want to make that perfectly clear.
Thank you, Mr. Wiseman. Other comments? Yes.
Well, I appreciate all of the comments from my board members tonight. This is a difficult decision on one, the other decision is providing an opportunity to our voters. So I will support it. It's been a tough decision.
Other comments? Mr. Dimick.
I feel like the idea that we're using bonds to supplement or augment our finances is going to be something that we see in perpetuity. Without a change at the federal or state level, we can't operate at the level we are right now unless we continue to go to the public and say every 3 to 6 or however many years, we need more money. It might be zero cost, but you'll never see a decrease. So anytime you say yes to something with the government, I mean, you're never going to get it back. Just bear that in mind.
Other comments? And this is a challenging one. This is one of those governance decisions that's important for us to make and hard for us to make at the same time. And I think we all recognize what I'm hearing from everyone is the system that supports public education in our state and we're not getting what we need in order to do all the things we can possibly do for kids. We do a lot for kids. I remember when I first got on the board, somebody said, if you ever say do more with less, that's not possible. And luckily, since I've gotten on the board, we have been able to pass bonds. We have had a community that overwhelmingly has supported our ballot initiatives, which I appreciate, because here we're sitting in a wonderful multi-purpose room that is functional and useful for our kids rather than a dilapidated pool. So I think that is important, and I do know the tax burden on people in our communities is hard. Every public service in the county has their hands out at one time or another, be it fire, police, transportation, schools, roads, all of it, and it's part of living where we live is paying for the privilege of being here, but it is hard to do, especially when you get that tax bill. So I appreciate the thoughtful consideration from the board, and without further discussion, we will take a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Wiseman.
Yes.
Ms. Cotter.
I'm a yes.
Ms. Ryan.
I'm a no.
I am a yes. Mr. Dimick.
No.
Ms. Grzymkowski.
No.
Ms. Dodd.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-3.
Thank you. Next, moving on to sale of 2026 school building and site bond series 1.
Yep, thank you, Madam President. I will turn this agenda item to Mr. Van Gotham.
Yeah, so this is the final portion of the several-month sale of our bonds. So we came to you in early December, and really we came to the community in the spring of 2025, and we were blessed, 24, we were blessed to have the community support us on a bond initiative, and so this is the first series in that bond initiative. To briefly summarize the activity that we had 12 interested entities that wanted to bid on this bond for us, from the likes of Bank of America, which was our low true interest cost, which won the award, but JP Morgan, TD Financial, Wells Fargo, Fifth Third, KeyBank, Morgan Stanley, Robert Baird, UBS, to name some of the 12 names that most people are familiar with in the financial industry space. They're willing to pay us $18 million premium, meaning that our responsibility for interest versus the interest that the bondholders have is a difference of a premium. So the principal that we have to pay is about $20 million less than what we're actually receiving from Bank of America. That's in large part to the decisions that are made at that table on a monthly basis, the A credit rating that we were able to maintain, and our underlying bond assignment and our AA rating that's supported through the state of Michigan. So, you know, it's been a privilege with, you know, the last 10 years that we've really done a good job building up our financial profile so that we could be in a position that we have a true interest cost of 3.68 on a 5% coupon that was very attractive to the community and was the largest, you know, nonprofit institutional sale last week when we sold these bonds. So there were a lot of interested parties, and I'm happy to report that we got an interest rate that we're really happy with, and within a month we'll have the $175 million deposited into our construction account that will be used over the next 3 to 5 years to do a lot of good things for Huron Valley schools, namely the brand new middle school and the what I would like to call the new middle school, or strongly enhanced White Lake Middle School right here on this campus. So appreciate the community's support, as we've said that tonight. Appreciate the board's support in going through this first series of bond sale, and you know, I'm just really happy that we have a strong team here that, you know, wants to do best by our community and was, you know, real supportive of this bond issue, and I think we did really well. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Van Gotham. Hold on, I got to get a motion in a second before we can have discussion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Support?
I'll support.
All right, thank you very much. Now you can have discussion. Mr. Wiseman, I figured I'd call on you first, so go for it.
From a treasurer's standpoint, I was able to represent the entire school board at the sale. And as most of you know, I've been in this business for a long time in a neighboring school district. And throughout all my years, I've never seen 12 financial institutions be that involved in the sale. And how compressed the bids were was truly amazing. And I just want to say thank you to Jeffrey and his team, along with Dr. Salah, because without your leadership, that wouldn't have happened. And I also want to thank my fellow board members, because without our leadership as a Board of Education, it would not have happened. And the other moment of gratitude would be to our taxpayers themselves, because while we're selling we're going to receive $175 million, that's because of our community's generosity, and they're the ones that are paying for it. And when we passed the first bond issue, I said we passed the second bond issue with what we do with the first bond issue. And the fact that we passed the second one the way we did was really a testimonial for the work that our administration has done with that first one. So I want to say thank you again for that. But at the same time, I think it's important to note that this sale is substantially more than what we originally anticipated. I believe we anticipated a $120 million sale at this point in time. We're selling $175 million. So with that 175, I know Jeffrey and Dr. Slott, our next finance and operations meeting, is going to present to us kind of a budget as it relates to what that $75 million really equates to. And I will say this, that it will equate to greater opportunities that much faster to our students and for our community itself. And I think what will be presented will be one that really shows that we are a AAA school district. Because not only, obviously, we're building a brand new middle school, I say basically we're building 2 brand new middle schools when it's all said and done. With that additional money, we're able to do some enhancements in the arts and athletics also. So I think that's just all good news that we're going to get more money than what we anticipated because of the values of our community, and we are a destination community. People want to move into Huron Valley schools because of the quality that our team does. And Dr. Salah has expressed, even the meeting today, the focus on instruction and the need for data so that we can prove how good we are. So that's my report from a treasurer's standpoint. And what we're ratifying tonight, I just have a question. What are we ratifying tonight? Because we already approved the sale.
So in December, the board did approve the sale of the bonds. What's before you tonight is just a ratification resolution that says, okay, you know, you asked the administration to sell these bonds. We have sold them. The board just needs to, I don't want to call it a rubber stamp, but again, reaffirm the commitment to sell these bonds because, again, we're asking for $175 million be deposited in our account. So it's a it's a check the box for the third time in the last 4 months, but it's really important that, you know, the board has the time as they have tonight to kind of discuss the situation, you know, make sure everybody's still comfortable with the fact that we're going to sell 175 of the 363 million, which again is a lot of money for the district over the next 7 to 10 years. But that, you know, the work we've done up to this point, and then the final item, which you were a part of last week, Mr. Wiseman, the actual sale in a competitive way is still acceptable by the board, and that, you know, by ratifying the sale, we can finalize everything we need to do on the back end to assure us the 175 million, because you've already approved White Lake enhancements at 47 million. We're going to come back to you in a couple months for the new middle school, which will be more than the 47 million. And then as you discussed, in a month, we're going to tell you all of the cool things that we'll be able to do with 175 million over the next 3 to 5 years.
And I think it's important to note that this sale was done competitively. When we talk about competitive sale, it's similar to what we do with bids. And the financial institution, I believe, was Bank of America. Is that correct? They provided us the most attractive rate out of those 12. There's both competitive and negotiated sales. Negotiated sales are kind of the opposite of negotiated. Negotiated sales are the opposite of competitive sales. Our financial advisors basically have phone calls in a room, and they come back with a recommendation. We as a school district don't believe in that. We do competitive bids now, and it works out well. It's very transparent, and it's something that's available to all of our taxpayers.
Thank you, Mr. Wiseman. Other comments? So we're voting yes again, basically is what I'm hearing, is we are approving this again, which, why not? It's a lot of money, we ought to. And I do think there is, you know, tonight in our unfinished business section is really about school finance, which is kind of an overwhelming and daunting puzzle to put together as to where does all the money come from that helps us exist. And just a reminder for folks, money that comes from the bond and sinking fund is all used for our physical buildings, for technology, for transportation. It's not used for people. It can't be used for people. It can't be used for curriculum. It can't be used for the things that make our schools great. They make our schools exist. They help people get to our schools. And they provide tools for the kids. But the rest of it, all the rest of that stuff comes from either the state or the federal government in the form of per pupil funding, title funding, all of those other things. So it's a complicated mix of money and where it comes from and what we can do with it. And it's different in every state. So what works and what we do here in Michigan is very different than what they do in Illinois, Ohio, every other place. So, and it's a lot of money. You know, you think about $175 million, you know, that sounds like the lottery. And the reality is, for buildings that get as much wear and tear, and if you have one child at your house, you know how much one child wear and tear is. Imagine 7,500 child wear and tear, plus sports facilities with tons of people coming to watch and all of that sort of stuff. It's a lot, and I think when we break it down and when our Finance and Operations Committee gets together and they really break down those bids and they look at each piece of furniture and each thing, then you realize how quickly all of this stuff adds up, and we want to make sure we get it for the long run. So we appreciate the work of the Finance and Operations Committee and, of course, our community for their support. With that and without any other comments, we will call for a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Wiseman.
Yes.
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Ms. Grzymkowski.
Yes.
I am a yes. Mr. Dimick.
Yes.
Ms. Cotter.
Yes.
Ms. Dodd.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Moving on to new business, starting with what seems like a very exciting conversation about structured cabling.
It's riveting.
I don't know, unstructured cabling. I don't know about that.
Followed shortly by fiber maintenance. Woo! Sounds like a diet.
It does.
We feel targeted.
I will I will turn it over to Lena, and Lena, you can introduce Scott.
Okay, I can introduce the very exciting topics we have on the new business. We have three items related to technology that Mr. Endicott and Mr. Twig are going to discuss. Two of them are first read, so it's really just information and any questions that you might have, and any follow-up questions. And the third one is of one item that we would request a vote on tonight as a first read because it is related to some purchases and refreshing of some laptops and some desktops that we would typically put before you in the spring, but because of the pricing that's increasing drastically, we want to get in front of it and hopefully get those items ordered with the current rates. So I will turn it over to Mr. Endicott to start the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Dr. Nemeth always steals my thunder. She always explains things so thoroughly, I don't have to do that as much. I have Paul Twig, our tech consultant, with me. We have three items to discuss. He's going to talk about the first two, and then I will come back after he's done and talk about the third one.
And I think we're going to take all three in succession, and then we'll do the voting at the very end for item C, Exhibit F.
Okay.
So just keep rolling.
Sounds good. The first two have to do with the federal E-rate program. If you're not familiar with it, it's a program that allows schools and libraries to submit for partial reimbursement for technology infrastructure items. I can't think of anything more exciting than getting six-figure check back from the federal government, so it's a good thing. The first item that's before the board tonight is for structured cabling. This is the data cabling for computers and interactive displays, telephones, copiers, cameras, etc., for both the new middle school and the greatly enhanced White Lake Middle School. Because these projects are going to be going out through 2028, we took the opportunity to include some of the upcoming projects that will be happening over the next couple of years throughout the district, such as the renovations to Lakeland High School, such as the new emergency notification system. So this allows us to apply for those E-rate dollars for those as well. The second item is the fiber maintenance contract. This is not for work that's anticipated. It's for breaks and fixes. It's for squirrel shoes. But it does also allow us to use the federal dollars in order to do maintenance on the work, maintenance on the fiber optic infrastructure. One known item is when White Lake Middle School is renovated, we know we're going to have to move the fiber out of the building and a couple years later back into the building. So it allows us to apply for federal reimbursement for that work as well. Scott, you want to hit the computer purchase?
The third piece is it's kind of a routine ask. Every summer we refresh about a fifth of our fleet of Chromebooks, laptops, and desktops. This year we'd like to do it a little bit early because of some supply chain issues we anticipate coming, some significant price increases that we've been warned about. So what we'd like to do is rather than waiting until the new REMC pricing comes out in April, which we expect to be significantly higher than this year's REMC pricing. We thought we would do it a couple months early, get in on last year's REMC pricing, and be able to get that, get devices secured before the summer hits, or at least the spring hits for the summer purchases. And we may have trouble not only getting the pricing that we're going to be getting, but getting devices at all. We may be forced to sort of buy what we can find. So, so that's why we're recommending the purchase, and that's why also we're asking for a one read. Our suppliers are not able to give us a 30-day quote. They were only able to give us a 14-day quote because of the market volatility. So we're hoping that you can, be understanding in that, and this year at least do this routine purchase, but only just do it a little bit earlier and in one read. So we're happy to take questions on any of the three proposals in front of you.
Okay, I haven't done this in a while, but I'm going to ask you to tell me what REMC stands for and what it is. Anybody know? Mr. Wiseman?
Regional Educational Material Center.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I haven't asked about one of those in a while.
REMC, we can tell you what it is. It's a consortium
There we go.
that allows us to purchase at great discounts compared to any quote we could get from any vendor. The vendors apply and go through a vetting process, and it's a competitive bid. And the consortium, every year we usually buy from REMC. And you don't have to buy refresh on REMC. We can buy throughout the year. If we need 10 laptops for a project that's been asked of us, we'll order them from REMC. We know we're getting the best prices around. We're not going to go find the same devices at Best Buy, or we're not going to find the same devices anywhere else for anywhere near those prices.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
And I think it's important to note that it's one of those services that our intermediate school district provides to us. REMC comes through our intermediate school district, doesn't it?
It's a statewide.
It's a statewide, but Oakland Schools is part of that.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
piece.
Okay, great. Other questions, comments? Ms. Cotter?
Just a comment. I'm a good shopper and always looking for the best price, and I appreciate the time and energy that your departments have taken on to make sure we are getting new equipment at the best price. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Other questions? Ms. Grzymkowski?
So you presented to us at TLT, and I did a little research. And I talked to two different organizations that we utilize for technology at my work and perhaps at my home. And both confirmed that this supply chain volatility is a real threat to keeping us all going. And so I appreciate the fact that you have put in this work, that you are mindful and are really putting our needs out there and letting us know, because that's not something that I would have even considered. Right. So thank you very much for bringing this to our attention and for doing all the legwork, because I know it's a lot. But I appreciate you doing that ahead of time so that we are prepared as we go into the next season with our education, and having the appropriate technology is an important aspect to what we do on a day-to-day basis. So thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions? Yes, Mr. Wiseman.
The purchase of the refresher computers, this allows us to continue to be a one-on-one school district, correct?
Yep.
And prior to the bond issue, we really were not a one-on-one school district. At the same time, the pricing that you're giving to us is the same pricing that was out there last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we're moving this forward, because you know for a fact, because of the trends in the market, that if we went to a 2-read, which is our normal process, those prices would be considerably higher.
Well, they would have to requote it. Whether or not they would honor the REMC pricing, it would be up to the vendor.
Okay.
And
So
the
we'd be at
manufacturer.
risk.
But they may, do that, but we didn't want to take the chance of them saying, no, we can't honor this pricing anymore. We do have, reports from other districts that, they had a quote in front of them, and it was dated a certain date, and the manufacturer said, no, we're sorry, we can't do that. There's too much going on in the world, and there's too much volatility. We're not going to honor that pricing that you have in front of you that you voted on. So we didn't want to take that chance. We wanted to get this through.
The other two that we're doing our normal processes with, the pricing that you show is the total price. We're applying for E-rate, so that cost might be significantly less if the E-rate is applied to that.
Yes, I don't know the exact amount, but it's in the ballpark of 25%.
So when we talk about 1.1 million, we might see a discount of 25% because of the E-rate.
Yes.
That's a factor. E-rate, while we get it from the federal government, the federal government gets that money from someplace.
It comes from our phone bills. If you
It
look
comes
on
from
the
our phone bill, and that's the
bottom
point
of
I
your
want to
phone
make.
bill,
We're
there's
paying
a
for
couple
the
dollars.
E-rate, all right? And you see, if you look at your telephone bill, there is a charge for E-rate. It all comes from us, all right? So it's great that we're getting some of that money returned to us through that E-rate, but the federal government gets it through the telephone bills. Thank you.
All right, I think that's it. And just, because I was just in DC advocating for E-rate and to continue E-rate, a reminder that E-rate has been in the Supreme Court. It's been a little up and down, but it appears that remote hotspots are the thing that went away. So hotspots on buses and hotspots to send it to students' homes is the thing that we used to be able to do with E-rate that we're not able to do anymore. But otherwise, the rest of the on-campus stuff and the things we were doing before are still included in the program, and that looks like it's likely going to stay.
The Supreme Court voted on it last summer. It was upheld 6-3.
Yeah.
So at this point, it should be around.
Good. It's very helpful and needed. I mean, it's like having running water at this point in the school. So appreciate it. And we will review structured cabling and fiber maintenance over the next month until our next meeting. No, I'm going to do that in a second. Speed me along. Nope. No, I'm not skipping you. I am closing out items A and B, and I am now looking for a motion on C.
I'll make a motion that we approve the computer purchase
And
as
I'll
presented.
support that one.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Any further discussion specifically about the computer purchase? We're not talking about cabling or fiber. Nope. Okay. I appreciate this. You know, at the meeting, I was like, why are we only doing one read? We always do 2 reads. And so and you said this at the meeting, I wanted to look up to say, you know, as our world changes, this is the sort of stuff that's happening. And what you explained to me of why is this a thing, is, and for everyone else, because I think Amy kind of alluded to it, massive AI centers and AI data centers are buying up mass quantities of storage. So that those little storage bits and bytes that need to go in these are not available because massive amounts of storage are being bought up by AI data centers, which is a new world we now get to exist in and figure out what to do about. But we're going to buy some computers before we have to worry about that. So let's do a roll call vote.
Ms. Grzymkowski.
Yes.
Ms. Cotter.
Yes.
Mr. Wiseman.
Yes.
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Mr. Dimick.
Yes.
I am a yes. Ms. Dodd.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, our public has even dwindled even more, but anybody with comments? We'll do public comments and then we'll do good and welfare. Yeah, I know we're all skipping around all over the place. Okay, good and welfare. You have good and welfare, go for it.
So this year, Milford and Lakeland hockey teams combined to the Huron Valley United Titans, and they're LVC champions. So it was like fantastic. And then we have a couple of the guys on the team, Austin Scanlon, who's number 19, and Craig Borges, number 26, who have both broken school records. What those records exactly are, I know it has something to do with 100 points, or I don't know. I don't really understand hockey, so. But they play tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Lakeland Ice Arena against Plymouth. So if you want to watch some good hockey, come support the team.
Where's the ice arena?
Lakeland Ice Arena, it's Waterford. Yeah, yep.
Learned something new. I didn't know about any of these things. Thank you very much. Very good and welfare. Anything else? Ms. Guzmkowski.
Last board meeting, we received just some really adorable notes from our elementary school students for Board Appreciation Month. I really, like, there are some things being a board member that are just priceless, graduation being one of them. But these notes, I think I've kept every note that I've had since I became a board member. They are so, they are just so wonderful, funny, just amazing that these students would take the time to write, and I really just appreciate it. So for the teachers that made this an assignment perhaps, or just let them have some fun one day, I really appreciate these notes. They are really powerful and meaningful to me.
They are. Very nice. Other good and welfare. I would like to share that I participated in the Kurtz talent show. I did not do a talent. I was able to be backstage. Well, I didn't say that. I didn't do a talent. I was able to, Mr. Brian Gutierrez and I emceed the talent show. So I was able to be off stage on the side of the stage where the kids were coming off right after they performed. 80 kids performed. And I am so grateful for the parents who got together like 3 years ago and decided, hey, we think our kids should have a talent show. And then the staff who've gotten on board to be supportive of it, because that look, and everybody didn't get to see the look because they weren't backstage watching, but every single kid did their talent, and it was a wide range of talents, I'm telling you. We had a 3D printer making glasses, lots of dancing, lots of singing, but every kid came off that stage after a resounding round of applause with the biggest smile on their face, more confidence than they've had in a whole year combined. So just a big thank you to all the people who do that in every building. I happen to be at the Kurtz building, and I know a lot of our buildings do talent shows, and they give kids an opportunity to show what they can do. But boy, the looks on those kids' faces made it all worth it to be able to have an opportunity to do that. So thank you very much for that. And without other good and welfare, we are adjourned.